I have to write another essay? Hey guys, today we are talking about the dreaded personal statement for law school applications. I may have actually had more anxiety about the personal statement than any other part in the law school admissions process, including the ridiculous application fees, having to choose between amazing law schools, and yes, even the LSAT. But if you do want to reduce anxiety about the LSAT, make sure that you watch this video and you check out my website because there may or may not be an awesome resource there to help you out with that. But anyways, the thing about the personal statement that really got to me was that there was no way to know if what I was doing was any good or not, if it was gonna set me apart from other candidates, or if it was what the admissions boards were looking for. I drafted 3 totally different versions of my personal statement over the course of a couple weeks, trying to find the best story to tell, because that's important. Telling a truthful, unique, and compelling story. The issue was, I just didn't feel like I had anything special to say. If you look online for what admissions counselors hold up as the golden ideals of personal statements, you'll notice that they're often not the most well-written. They aren't fancy by any means, and they don't necessarily accompany very impressive academic records. What makes these personal statements compelling is the unlikely story they tell. And not unlikely in the sense that I doubt the veracity of the story, but unlikely in that they represent, in my experience and research, a minority of law students. The writers of these statements have often faced homelessness, poverty, abuse, immigration, or some other great injustice, injury, or suffering that sets up a stark contrast for the legal advocate that they are pursuing to become. While this story is an amazing one to tell, it's not one that most of us actually have to tell, and that's a good thing, but it does perpetuate this narrative that your history must have been hard for your law school journey to be justified. And I don't think that's helpful because your story can be compelling, unique, and truthful without having been difficult. It doesn't matter what your story is, it matters how you frame it. So when I was sitting frustrated, staring at my 3rd statement and still not liking it at all, I reached out to an attorney that I had worked with through my DA internship, who had told me that he had won a $14,000 scholarship at a public university based alone on his personal statement. I figured if anyone could help me, it was him. And he gave me 2 awesome pieces of advice. The first one was, and I quote, "Think about what makes Nicole love the idea of lawyerness. Don't hide the ball." According to him, the professional vibe in the personal statement is non-existent. Why do you want to go to law school? Be honest with yourself and your readers. I learned that the reason I was having such a hard time with my personal statement was because I wasn't telling the true story of why I wanted to go to law school, and that had a lot to do with my faith. That's the topic for a totally different video. The point is, I know not everyone shares my beliefs. And I was worried that if I had someone who was deciding my admittance and scholarships who didn't resonate with what I was saying and my convictions for going to law school and the faith that they stem out from, the result would not be in my favor. But this attorney, who was definitely not a Christian himself, by the way, really encouraged me to be truthful about my convictions, to share them with whoever was making those decisions, and be honest about my passion for God and how it influenced what I think about the legal system and why I want to be a part of it. And I'm so glad I listened. Once I had that piece of advice, I cranked out my statement in about half an hour because my faith and justice are 2 things that I love to talk about. But I wasn't done. No. Because the second piece of advice that he gave me was to send my personal statement draft to every literate person I could think of. And so I did. I sent it to 40 people who knew my story, knew and cared about me and my journey to law school, and who were pretty decent at reading and writing and communicating. And I would say about 20 of them got back to me. Some of those responses were praise, but many of them were criticisms and corrections that shaped the grammar and the wording structure and honestly the structure of the whole thing to a result that I loved. If you could put me on a 2-page paper when it came to my beliefs about faith and about justice, this statement was it. If you are one of those people who helped me along the way with that statement, thank you so much. You are awesome. I got a few comments along the way of the law school admissions process praising the way that I framed my story and congratulating me for being willing to tell it. And I know that my personal statement definitely played a part in many of the offers I ended up receiving. The personal statement is your one chance to talk about who you are and the unique perspective that you are bringing, not only into the classroom, not only onto the law school community, but into the legal profession for the rest of your life. It's the only thing that's talking about who you are and not just what you've done. So you want to make sure that you get it right, because you only really do have that one chance, unless you're applying to schools that have an interview somewhere along the process. Now, if you feel like you need a little bit more help along the way or another set of eyes on your personal statement, I've got your back. Check out my offers through my website, my Facebook page, and my Fiverr account. All of that will be linked below for you. And until I start law school on August 26th, 2019, I am offering anyone who signs up for any level of my LSAT prep course a free personal statement review. So don't hesitate. Just DM me on Instagram or Facebook message me, and we will get rolling as soon as I can confirm your enrollment. And that is all for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure that you like this video if you think you're going to benefit from this advice as much as I did. I really hope that you do. Next Monday, we are talking about another very important part of the law school application process, and that is recommendation letters. So make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss it when it comes out. Until then, God bless.